Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And it is Saturday, which means it is Star Trek time. And we are joined, of course, by Irate
Hello.
and Skep Talk.
Hi, everybody.
And the One Ton Hammer has returned. How are you, my friend?
Hey, I am better, thank you.
Good. And Dax should be along soon. He does get off work like just half an hour before the stream starts, so he.
Dax is just getting off.
He gets off a half hour before every stream.
Yes.
That's what he told me.
I was trying to make that sexual innuendo, and you ruined it.
Stepped right on it. Nice work. Nice work.
Squish.
I'm sorry, man. Sam told you I'm a blood instrument.
So today we are here to talk about Skep Talk's favorite Voyager episodes, and they are Latent Image from Season 5, Bride of Chaotica, also from Season 5, and by far my least favorite episode of the series, and Lineage from Season 7. So,
You may wonder what went into my picks, and
I do kind of wonder why the hell you picked Bride.
These are not. These are.
You're sure it's just not dice?
No, it actually is not. I wanted to do my experience base with Voyager is, shall we say, slender, but there had been some episodes that I thought were remarkable, and I tended to like one aspect of them or a couple of aspects of each one. It's probably true of both of these of Bride of Chaotica and Lineage. Certainly is true of those two, and my favorite of the three is the one we're going to talk about first, which is
I'm not surprised.
Latent Image.
When you picked that one, I was like, yes. That's a hard episode to watch.
It is it's very personal, and it explores the Doctor's personality, which I just absolutely love. I enjoy the Doctor. I'm a fan of the Doctor, and the Doctor is basically running through the crew, and he is getting holograms of the crew that go all the way down to what he calls the subatomic level. Kind of have to just forget my understanding of
physics,
quantum physics, and to say, okay, so did they be expressed as probability equations of the quarks? No, never mind. Just enjoy the movie, Frank. That's what I say to myself. So, at any rate, and he notices something in Harry Kim, that Harry Kim has had surgery, and it's a technique that the Doctor developed himself, and he sees the evidence of this technique, certain type of incision, and he doesn't remember having done that. And
it was it was brain surgery.
It was brain surgery.
It was not a.
The old saying, it's not brain surgery. Yes, it was.
Yeah.
This was brain surgery. So. He doesn't remember it, and he has a dating technique that he can tell that it happened like a year and a half ago or 18 months ago, something to that effect. And he immediately thinks, well, there's something wrong, with me or something else, and I want to run diagnostics. So he asks for 7 of 9, and she's allergic. She's allergic. She's reading my notes here. She 7 of 9, but she's too busy to talk to him. Come back tomorrow, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And but he gets her interested, and she goes. And so she heads to sickbay later and finds the Doctor inactive. She activates him and tells him that he has run a preliminary diagnostic, that his suspicion were correct, but he doesn't remember speaking to her. And the reason is something has gone in and deleted that memory from him. So this is all the setup for the episode, basically, that something is messing with the doctor and the doctor doesn't know what it is.
He's been violated.
So the doctor sets up this complicated deal where he basically takes a picture. He sets up something to record all of his memory currently as it is, and that will restore it later, okay, after he's been tampered with. And he sets up his holo camera to take a picture of whoever does the tampering when they walk into sick bay.
Yeah,
and
he
do
sets
that.
it up for 5-second pictures for
Yeah,
the
the
entire
pictures every
time
5
that
seconds,
he's
yeah.
deactivated.
So he snaps a picture of the culprit who's doing this, and it's Captain Janeway.
Yep.
And he confronts her, and he's very emotional, and I just love it. I just enjoyed the acting so much. He just gets in her face, says, "What's going on here?" And so it comes out, and Janeway will not tell him what happened, and the doctor starts to ask, like Paris, and find out why, why is this happening? What happened?
He's asking everybody.
Exactly. And the interesting thing is there's a, and this was the really the core of this. One of the thing that I liked most about the episode was that the problem was she basically changed him so that he forgot about a very traumatic thing that he had to do. He had to choose between Kim and another crewman he didn't know as well, who were both injured in an away mission on the shuttle by the same weapon and had virtually identical injuries, and he had to triage between the two, and he decided to work on Kim first. The other officer, the other ensign, died while he was working on Kim, and the doctor, blamed himself and said, "I killed her." Basically is what he said. The interesting thing that happened was he gets into a feedback loop. That's what they call it, and he repeats it, and the dissonance just builds up every time he goes through that feedback loop until he becomes unstable and unable to function, and that's why Janeway took the action. And then the same thing happens to Janeway when she's trying to decide if she did the right thing in tampering with him. I love that kind of ironic superimposition of a similar.
Can I point out my favorite scene in this whole episode?
Oh, sure. And I'm done talking.
What they're doing is basically Janeway finally agrees to show Doc the memory that she deleted from him. And the feedback loop basically happens again.
Yes.
And they have to decide, are we going to wipe him again, right? Or do we let him go through this again? And Janeway and Taurus at first are like, well, just wipe him, right? We need him. Just wipe him. 7. I love this scene. She goes to Janeway's cabin at like 2:00 in the morning. And basically she goes, wiping his memory is wrong, right? And Janeway is like, she gets a coffee from the replicator, and she goes, I always tell this thing to give me coffee hot, right? And it always messes it up, right?
Lukewarm.
It's it's just a piece of technology, right? And 7 of 9 goes, that's really strange, because there's technology, because she was comparing the doctor to the replicator, Janeway was. And 7 goes, there's still a lot of technology inside of me. So what happens when that technology malfunctions? Are you just gonna, abandon me like you are to the doctor, or are you gonna fix me? No, this isn't where Tom keeps reliving the murder. All you need. That's from season 1. That episode's called Ex Post Facto. Um, um, but
The human computer
Anyway,
strikes
go on.
again.
It's not a very good analogy from 7 of 9, though, because
It's
7
not.
of 9 is not entirely
no.
technology.
It's not an exact analogy, but here's the strength of what 7 of 9 is saying, at least in my opinion. She's saying he's not really just like a replicator. Okay.
No, he's not.
And when you start talking about stripping away cognitive, function, it's really kind of a what is life? What constitutes life? When is something living? When it passes a Turing test, is that a living thing? Does it have the rights and responsibilities of a human being at that point? When do we respect life, or do we respect all life? If something is built out of silicon and electric wire, do we respect that less than something that is not? The doctor is acting very, very human,
Yes.
and that's
funny
It's
how-
ironic that 7 of 9 is the one who's recognizing it.
Yeah, it's funny how this twists depend how they used it in TNG, where I think it was Wesley walked up to Crusher and said, "Mom, what is life?" And she says, "Oh, that's all you're asking me." Philosophers been mulling over that for forever.
Right.
Oh, that was Data.
Was it Data?
In
Oh yeah,
the,
it was
the
Data.
Microbrain episode, I think.
Right.
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking it was.
So it's funny to see that this one is about the doctor being alive, yet that question in TNG was to a doctor about being alive.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And
So anyway.
and at one point Janeway ends up saying to B'Elanna, "We gave him a soul," because she's like, "Oh, he's just a pile of subroutines." B'Elanna says, and Janeway's like, "But is he really though? Because we've allowed him to expand those subroutines." And he and so she says, "We gave him a soul, B'Elanna. Do we have the right to take it away?"
Well, and that's how it kind of dovetails into Bride of Chaotica. That theme of him, like maybe is he a sentient being or not, right?
Yeah,
Because
photonic life.
Photonic life forms, right? Exactly. Yeah. That's because those episodes were back to back.
Yes, they were.
That was just coincidental, by the way. That was absolutely coincidental.
I think maybe they put them back to back for some relief.
Yeah.
Because that was a heavy, Latent Image is a heavy episode.
Yeah, it's tough to watch.
And Bride of Chaotica is just plain silly.
It is. Especially the end of Latent Image. It always brings a tear to my eye because you've got Janeway sitting with Doc, and she's just done. Right? There's been somebody watching him for 2 weeks at this point. And she's falling asleep, right, over her book, right? And, you can tell he's starting to come out of it because he's starting to worry about her. Right? Again. And he tells her, "Go to bed. I'll be okay." Right? I'll be here when you wake up. And she leaves her book there. And when he reads the opening lines, the lines themselves plus the music that they've put on in the scene.
In that book, which is my memory on the first page of the chapter, that is the day when I first met you, appear the words, "Here begins a new life."
Yeah. And it's so poignant, with the music, with the way Robert Picardo...
Sorry?
It's all good. With the way Robert Picardo, is playing the part at that moment. It's impossible to watch that without getting some tears in your eyes. Unless you're not human.
Do you know who wrote those words, by the way? It was a poet. It's an Italian poet.
Yeah. I can't remember.
You know who it was?
I can't remember.
It was Dante Alighieri, the guy who wrote the Inferno. Dante's Inferno. Yeah, Dante. So anyway, yeah, Dante Alighieri wrote other stuff. It's one of my professors said in college. I actually studied that. That was very cool to have that memory brought back. So anyway, so that's why I picked that. If we anybody else wanted to say anything else about this episode?
All the way around, I love this episode. It's very Star Trek without there being any like crazy battle Trek talk techno.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
There's no space battles. There's the aliens
so
are just
Trek.
incidental, and but it is Star Trek all the way through. It's a great head episode, so that was kind of my quality pick. The other two were, they're on the margins. That's for particularly this next one we're going to talk about.
So Bride of Chaotica is basically we've seen Paris and Kim play Captain Proton before.
Yes.
But this episode is basically the entire, like, you're stuck in Captain Proton world, basically, except for a few scenes. And we have these photonic life forms suddenly just appearing in the holodeck. And they think the Captain Proton program is real. So Voyager is basically trying to get these photonic beings back to wherever the hell they come from. And
it's because they're stuck in subspace, right?
Yeah,
that's what I was going to point out as a something that the episode actually does not do a good job at is pointing out that the photonic beings themselves live in their own universe, and it's a different universe than what Voyager lives in, but it intersects it in subspace somehow.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
And that's where these portals can occur, and so these guys are explorers. They're out, to visit strange new worlds, to boldly go where no photonic being has ever gone before and find new life. So they're out prospecting for new life, and voila, they hit a holodeck program, and they go, "Who is this Captain Proton?"
I have to say that there is one part of this episode that I really find amusing, and that's they get 7 of 9 to join them to play Captain Proton because the twin girls they usually play with are busy, and the screaming robot, she just like, "I am Borg," and just freaking just stops the robot cold, and then turns to Harry and Tom and goes, "The robot has been neutralized. May I leave now?"
It is a great
the
moment.
Best part of that episode.
That is a good one. Also, I loved Constance Goodhart.
Yeah.
The scream. All she did was scream.
That scream.
She screamed. She had 5 screams and then she died. And so I dug that. But anyway.
Yeah, and she's dressed like the Attack of the 50-Foot Woman when she gets. Anyway, if you've ever seen that movie, there's a bathing suit that she wears, and Tess is wearing that. There's a lot of there's genuine nods to like real, serials from the 30s, 40s.
Oh, this is Buck Rogers through and through.
Dude.
This is
it's
Buck Rogers.
Commander Cody, Captain of the Rocket Men, Rocket Man, and there's like 2 others that they use the same footage.
Fireball XL5 even.
The same footage of the dude, jumping off the mini trampoline and flying. and the mannequin, great stuff. But so it really harkens really well to that. Tom playing the Rocket Man part of it. This is pretty cool.
Playing Buster Kincaid.
Yeah, and so when they get stuck in subspace, they pop out of the holodeck, and they forget. What did they forget to turn it off or something?
No, no,
Yeah.
they couldn't turn it off. Here was the thing. They're in the holodeck and they want to end the program. And it says cannot end program. Permission
Right.
denied. Override controls cannot override controls. They
Right.
find. He says, "Oh, I know where there's a console. We can beam ourselves out of that way." And they actually transport themselves out of the holodeck. That's how they get out the first time.
Right.
And it's they have to go back in though to interact with the photonic beings, and in doing so they have to interact with the Captain Proton people, and that gets Janeway to play the role of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Queen Arachnia, the evil counterpart to Chaotica, who is this just completely overdrawn but perfectly for the period, for like a 1940s space movie or 1950s space movie, just perfectly dressed for
Yeah, very Joan Crawford, man.
very, very much so. So anyway,
And of course, they picked Janeway to be the bride of King.
yeah, the bride of Chaotica.
And I love how Tom is like explaining this to Janeway, and he's so embarrassed.
Yeah.
You ever notice that after this episode of Paris doesn't go and play Captain Proton anymore?
Yeah, no, he's done.
You notice that he goes and
that's his retirement from.
He fixes, like, he goes to the holodeck and like plays around with cars from now on, or like.
Well, when Chaotica dies, isn't that the end of the game?
I didn't think he died.
No. He does die in that episode, and and the thing comes up on the old style CRT, and it says the end, and then in the classic way that cinema used to be back then, after it says the end, Ian fades away, and then a big question mark comes in. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, that's
There's
great,
an
man.
AP in the chat. What's up, dude? Hey, AP.
Adnoitus Paul. What's up, dude?
He says, remember, tonight is
Scuba Bowl.
Scuba Bowl. I want to see you all there. If he called your mother, or Collins, welcome. Remember, if he called your mother, be sure to call in and ask why.
Oh my God! I should show up with the way Scooby left.
You should.
Oh man, I should totally go and
should be like, hey, why'd you do that? That wasn't nice.
All right, you need to get 2 deli platters, AP. I'm just saying.
Just don't mention the minions if you do.
No.
No, I'm not going to do it. Dude, I would not waste my time seriously on Scooby, Ixnay, on the Ubi.
Yeah, he in case he would prompt you or something like that.
No.
Because
I'm not interested. I've got other things.
That might be something that BP and IP are our 2 favorite abbreviated people. BP and IP.
I got a sandwich tray and a meat and cheese tray.
Oh man!
I may not know about what goes on behind the scenes when it comes to the minions, but I sat down and talked to all the hosts and most of the minions and said, just stay out of it. Don't interact. Don't talk back. Let them say what they want to say. Just stay away from them. So
exactly.
I generally don't talk to the minions as in that respect to tell them what to do. But this is a scene where we're talking about the minions as a whole, as opposed to individuals. So, if somebody
goes beyond the person,
yes, if it was specifically directed at the person, and you're going to handle it as a person affected, that's fine. But just try to keep the minions out.
No,
I don't care enough to do that, Hammer. I was just teasing.
Yeah, no,
just kidding.
I may show up.
Yeah,
I only talked to him like twice live on the stream. So
I used to be part of their group.
Oh, I know you did.
Chaos 120. I used to be part of the Chaos 120 group.
Yep.
So, and that was separate from the minions. So I'm kind of involved, but I'll be involved as Hammer only. So.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. Right.
There were good parts of Chaos 120, and that's why I streamed with them. When I did, but there are also some very negative things that came out of Chaos 120.
Well, at the time, we were kind of complimentary to each other. It's like, But anyway, well, we'll see.
Anyway, all right. So
Was there anything else
getting back
about
to the Star Trek
Chaotica?
stream?
Mhm.
Let's see. Like there was one other thing.
I never got to mention this, but I hated that episode. The one with
So did
Chaotic.
I. Every time,
Yeah.
when I used to watch Voyager on cable, I would turn on the TV and I would hear the music and I would go, nope.
Nope.
And then just turn it
I
off.
I did want to say that I loved the Doctor as president of Earth. Just the way he was
Reminds
dressed.
me of
That was
Stargate
fun.
Atlantis is what it reminded me of. Because
Man, I
he had
wouldn't-
exactly the same costume on that show as he did.
Really?
I
Okay.
remember when renting videos was a really big thing.
Mhm.
I went through this like 2-year phase of renting out serials. I mean, the whole,
Oh, yeah.
16 chapters, 16 fucking VHS cassettes.
Blockbuster Video. Wow, what a difference.
Yeah,
I still
exactly.
remember the jingle.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And there's also this movie called J-Men Forever, which I highly recommend. It's the guys from oh God, what is their name? Fire Sign Theater.
Mm.
Yeah, they took a bunch of old serials and they redubbed them, and it's funny as shit. And I won't give away the plot, but somebody tries to steal rock and roll,
Nice.
and that ain't cool. J-Men Forever.
So shall we move on to Lineage?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. So
So
Lineage is Lineage is that was the episode when I kind of all right, I should start this out saying I have this kind of love-hate relationship with B'Elanna Torres. It's sometimes I like her and the role that she plays, and other times she just makes me cringe and I want to strangle her.
yeah.
And it just depends on what she's doing and how she's playing it. And this episode is kind of that all in one episode. There are parts of this where I really like her, and parts of this where I just want to say, involuted emo girl, shut
Yeah.
the fuck up. What you're putting everybody through misery. And the other thing about this was this was I think of this as the millennial episode, because nobody is concerned about the baby. It's all about me, my life, that this belongs to me. It's mine. The me and mine and I, and it are the principal pronouns of this episode. It is. It really it shows a lot about the character of those people and the way they thought about things. It strikes me as they were a very selfish bunch of people, very not selfish but self-oriented, self-obsessed, and
I think Tom cared.
that's
Tom cared
that's
about the baby.
Tom cares because Tom thinks he's supposed to. Tom is not smart enough. I don't think Tom is smart enough to know exactly what to do. So he says, "What am I supposed to do?" I mean, he's kind of a pathetic guy in this, and he's.
I don't agree with you on that.
So you think that his reactions were real, and he really did care, because he kept being mystified. This is bigger than just me. This is. Instead of sitting and thinking it through and thinking about what it would mean to be a father, he just kept being mystified by it. That's when I started to lose patience with him. I don't know.
He wasn't. I don't think he was mystified with it, though. I think he was. He was trying to figure out what was going on, because he didn't want to jump down her throat if it wasn't necessary. But he also wanted to, like, when he got 7 of 9 and Echeb to look at the medical data, because the problem, the thing about this episode was that B'Elanna found out that the baby would look a lot more Klingon than her genetics set. Like she looked like a full-blooded Klingon, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And B'Elanna
For our
was
riches, especially.
trying to figure out a way of making her look less Klingon because of all the shit that she went through. Which in theory I understand, but in practice I don't. And Tom was trying to understand, you know, because he's not a biology guy, so when he was looking at the data, he's like, you know, let me take it to somebody I know who does. And why is the doctor, like, because he got suspicious as soon as the doctor, like, completely changed his mind. Tom was smart enough to be like, wait a minute. Right, because the doctor was, you know, I'm not deleting parts of your child's DNA.
He was adamant.
Yeah.
He was definitely not going to do that. And all of a sudden.
And then all of a sudden he was like, oh, yeah, that's fine.
It
And
seems
Tom
awfully
was like,
convenient.
Tom was just like, wait a minute. Right.
And of course, B'Elanna's an engineer, so she went in and technically made it almost impossible to interfere.
And what I like from Tom is, I would have done exactly what Tom did if I was the father of that child. I would have gone barging into sick bay and been like, yeah, stop.
You're right. I'd forgotten about that, and I did like him for that.
Your program's been fucked with. Stop it, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Yeah,
Tom was not like, he loves B'Elanna, but that's his kid, and you're not gonna fuck with his kid.
Right.
Even if you're the mother of the kid, you don't
get to do that.
I found, and I liked the flashbacks that we get in this episode, because you get to see why
B'Elanna growing up, and you get to see her relationship.
Well, there's just one pivotal incident that I think solidifies her dichotomous dilemma, as it were, and that would be, she's out camping, obviously, with relatives and her father, and she gets a prank played on her. Guy puts a worm on her sandwich, and she freaks out and she feels alienated. And then she hears her dad. She overhears her dad talking to, I guess, who's her uncle brother, or something. Yeah, it's saying to her to the effect of, these are some burdensome. Not only are they women, but they're Klingon women on top of it. And
Mom was right. I never should have married a Klingon woman.
Yeah,
B'Elanna's too sensitive. And then he tried to. What a shit father. She tells him that she's the subject of basic racism, right, at school.
Yeah.
Because she legitimately is. And his thing is, kids can be mean. They used to make fun of me because I fell asleep in class and snored. I'm like, right. You asshole. That's not even close to the same thing.
Yeah, I remember staring at the screen in horror when he said that. I just, dude, you're her father.
They used to call me John Snorres. I know exactly how you feel about being the subject of racism at school.
It's the same as being accused of snoring. It's exactly the same. God, that was fun. That was.
I was like, Jesus Christ, And when I don't blame B'Elanna for feeling like she told him to go away, because the kind of father that he seems to be, he kind of seems like that. Oh well, she said, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
those fathers who piss off their kids. and their kids say, you know, why are you stop being a child, or, if I'm such a problem, then leave. And instead of being a father and going, no, wait, I'm sorry, they, okay. It's like,
Later.
and that seems to me to be the kind of guy that B'Elanna's father is.
Yeah, he ends up being, which, cis white male turns out to be a loser. Huh, well, welcome to modern cinema. But other than it being kind of a, these days a de rigueur plot item that the cis white male is the villain, he really was a villain, and it did make B'Elanna Torres a little more understandable to me, and I liked her better as a result of doing that. I felt warmly toward her.
And I have to say, here's another. I have to give you another example that kind of disproves the Tom's not very smart thing. That was some pretty smooth bit of psychology he pulled in sick bay. When she just randomly yells, "Don't tell me what to do, you're not my father." And he goes, whoa, 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 wait a minute. Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Right? Like, is that what you think this is? You think I'm just gonna fuck off because you're a Klingon, and I'm gonna abandon you and our daughter because you're Klingon?
Yes.
Oh, hell no.
Yep.
Right? Like, that was, for a flyboy pilot.
That was kind of deep. I was almost to the point of being out of character, in my opinion. But that may have to do with my image of Paris.
Too deep for Tom?
Yeah, too deep. Too deep for Tom. Because
I can see that.
He's kind of a happy-go-lucky flyboy, like you say, and all of a sudden he's starts spouting what is actually a very appropriate and in-depth analysis of the situation, and laying it out like that. And I just went, well, where did that come from? So, I agree, it does contradict it, but I just wasn't expecting it from him.
I don't know if it's out of character though, because if you look at episodes like 30 Days, that shows that he's got some intelligence and some passion. It's almost like he's cultivated this I don't give a fuck attitude to protect himself kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because you get snippets and many snippets in Voyager of Tom being an actually very compassionate, very intelligent guy. Kind of the guy you would see who, if you did get a guy living in the shadow of a very famous admiral, who, because, he wanted, Admiral Paris wanted Tom to be this, straight-laced officer type, but he's just not that guy.
Yeah.
So Tom basically had to,
I know the problem.
get a tough exterior, because there are times like there's an episode, I can't remember what episode it is, but he admits to, I used to go and sit in my room and spend most of my time in my room crying because I was just Admiral Paris's son. I wasn't me. I was Admiral Paris's kid, and I was gonna do great things because I was Admiral Paris's kid, and it was just so much pressure.
Right.
I don't know. I like Tom. I'm a fan of Tom.
It's not that I'm not a fan of Tom. I like him for what he is, and I like his lack of pretension. Actually, he's Tom Paris, and when you get Tom Paris, you get Tom Paris. That's all you get. You get the real guy. So anyway, yeah, there were a lot of things to recommend this episode. It was an interesting look at both Paris and Torres, and but it was the fact that it made me happy about Torres and made me like her so much more as a character. It really did that. This really did that for me. So I figured, everybody else is picking these great, really profound episodes. I thought I would pick some stuff that was off the beaten track.
Well, those were good.
Those were great picks, man.
Except for Chaotica, those were great.
Except for 1/3 of your picks, they were great. Yeah,
I like the first and last picks. I think they're good picks. I have a real problem with Torres. I always have, ever since day one, and part of it's the way she's written, and part of it's the actress herself. I'm really not attractive as Roseanne Biggs Dawson is. Well, Roseanne Caballeros is her actual name, but for as attractive as she is, the way she plays this part, I think the writers had to work between writing good scenes for her and writing scenes that were above her acting ability. Because she got a little bit too much of that I'm going to stomp my feet on the ground until you do what I want to do kind of feeling to her after a while. And what I always wanted to see happen is somebody like 7 of 9 just punch her directly in the face and knock her the fuck out. I always wanted to see that happen because she's like, well, I'm a Klingon and I'll kick your ass. Bang. And she's on her ass. Yeah, you're not so tough, are you?
Totally do it too.
Absolutely. It wouldn't even be a fight. It wouldn't even be a fight because 7 of 9 already knows how to kill a Klingon pretty efficiently as being part of the Borg. So I always wanted to see her put in her place. She never was. I mean, they had to make her, the Klingon who's going to threaten everybody. But But I think there, and not specifically in the last pick that you made, but I see it in other episodes. Even the episode that I picked, Juggernaut.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say Juggernaut's a good example.
I picked that because I liked her performance in it. But that being true, she very much did still do that. But I said for you to do this, Well, you're not in control, B'Elanna. Sorry, I know you think you're badass, but you're not. This thing is going to be bigger than you. Too bad. Suck it up. And I think she needed more of that throughout the entire series to make her a little bit more believable. But not that she wasn't a very attractive young woman. Roseanne Biggs Dawson's still cute.
She's directing still, right?
Oh, a lot of shit.
She's a very talented writer too, by the way.
Yeah,
she did the
whole Carrie Fisher.
She did the whole Tenebris book series.
Really?
Good reading. Good reading.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's actually very talented.
Roseanne or is it Roxanne?
Roxanne.
It's Roxanne, right?
Yeah. Roxanne. Her name is actually Roxanne Dawson, and she married a guy named. You know the guy who played. Who was later on in DS9? The guy who played the bad guy's friend. Oh, shit, I can't remember any of the names. My mind's just not working.
Dumar's friend?
Damar. No, maybe it was Damar himself. She married him.
Oh.
She was married to the guy who played him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Roseanne Biggs Dawson was married to a character on DS9. Yeah.
They eventually divorced. He later became a recurring cast member on Deep Space Nine, playing the Cardassian Damar.
Damar, that's what it was. Yeah. So I mean, her name is actually Roseanne Dawson, and it was a picked name because Roxanne, because there was already a Roxanne Dawson, or there was already a Roxanne Caballeros, which is her actual maiden name, her dad's name. What got me was that they gave her a name of Taurus, a typically Spanish surname, and her original name when she was growing up was also her last name is also a Spanish surname.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting that they made her character's father Spanish, just like her real father was also Spanish.
Yeah. That's cool.
But yeah, I don't mean to give her a hard time. She's certainly not the person I have the hardest time with on the show. But I just don't like that petulant child. She reminds me of what's her face? The Speaker of the House, Pelosi.
Pelosi. Yeah.
She just stomps her feet and tears up the ass. Yeah, but the whole stomping your feet, petulant child kind of thing. Yeah, it just drives me crazy.
She is a adult convert to Catholicism.
Yeah.
Roxanne Dawson.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, she saw the film Breakthrough, the 2019 Christian film Breakthrough. A very late
Interesting.
I will be right back.
recent concert
Okay.
to Catholicism. But yeah, it's
Yeah. She grew up in an atheist household.
I
And-
saw that on Wikipedia. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's interesting. You usually don't see it go that way. It's usually around. You see Catholics as time goes by. You see Catholics become more atheistic.
absolutely.
So,
Follow-
I refer to
Lapsed
myself
Catholics.
as a recovering Catholic.
What's that?
Mhm.
I refer to myself as a recovering Catholic.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let the bullshit from Rome dictate my life. Fuck them. Sorry. I've developed, it's like Skep and I have a similar experience spiritually. And, it's a path. Not everybody takes, it's like you can not believe in God and you can still be a spiritual person, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by spiritual is maybe, altruistic, right?
My dad was Protestant. My mom was Catholic. And part of the agreement that they get married in a church was that the kids had to be brought up Catholic. So I was brought up Catholic. But
Same here.
back in the day, that was kind of the thing.
Yeah.
So
Uh-oh. BP is molesting her phone again. Welcome back with the pretty blue headphones.
I find it interesting that she graduated from UCal Berkeley.
Yeah.
I wonder what she studied there. Probably acting, but
Acting, probably.
never really
it sounds like she's creative.
could be gender studies.
That could have been filmmaking.
Could be
Gender
math.
studies.
Gender studies.
Gender studies.
I'm a gender studies major.
Truly.
She actually, not to give her too much of a hard time, but she actually did a really good job when she had to play in the episode where her human and Klingon side were separated.
Oh, Faces. That was a great
that was a
episode.
good
She did a really good job.
Yes, she did.
Yes.
I think it's only fair to give her some credit where credit's due. If I'm going to give her a hard time, I should give her some credit.
So should we do your picks next week, Hammer?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
We know what mine are. It's
All right.
Scorpion
Scorpion.
Scorpion, Juggernaut.
and something else. I forget.
Am I ever glad I was raised Episcopalian, says Duck Dog. It's basically an AA meeting where everyone drinks after.
Well, a lot of AA meetings in that way too.
I'll have to go back and look at our Twitter feed to remember what the third episode was that I picked. So I forget.
Oh, here, I'll go back and look at it. Hang on one
I'm
second.
glad you're doing it because for some reason I have a hard time looking at Twitter history. I can never go back and find what I want.
It's back in DMs,
It's-
right?
Yeah,
Very-
but I'll miss
It's
it.
in DMs. Hang on, I'll find it. Go to hammer, polydub, hammer. Blind press, load.
Mm.
Oh, what? What is this buffering? Fuck you. All right. Well,
The new Twitter app update has made it so that you can't dictate anymore. It'll dictate one word and then
that's a real step forward, isn't it?
stop.
You mean when you're writing a tweet out, you can't
Yeah.
just hit the microphone button and type out the whole tweet?
Yeah, I tried. And
Really?
a bunch of other blind people. I don't know if it's because voiceover is on and it's something with the Twitter update. But a
All
bunch
right.
of other blind people have tried dictating their tweets since 2 days ago, the update, and it'll do one word and then stop.
Let's see if that's going to work for me or not. When you press the microphone button. Blind Press is my favorite YouTuber. Yeah, it just says play. It didn't even pick out the right word.
Weird.
Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It's not allowing you to use the
Twitter,
microphone
fix
tool
your
anymore.
shit.
Well, that could be a problem with the latest iPhone update because I just updated my iPhone too.
So did I.
13.4.1 or something like that. Maybe something
Oh, it's
wrong
a
there.
4.1 now?
Something
like that.
Sinister updates, for God's sakes.
Settings. Phone. Where is it in the settings phone? It says what? No, that's my phone number is.
Setting general.
You finally got Skepo?
No, in fact, I'm
Well, it was like a month
looking
and a half
through
ago.
all of the
Settings general software update. That's where it's at.
No, let's see.
13.3.1.
No,
yeah, I'm up to date.
Wait, irate prostates. Yours were the Visitor, Children of Time, and Valiant.
That's. Whoa! You went way back.
It's like December 27th.
That's Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, that is Deep Space Nine. I just realized that. All right, so it would have been so. It's not in this.
Oh, you know why?
I'm doing
Because
string
Hammer
searches.
told us.
And it's
Hammer
not finding.
verbally told us what it was.
So everybody go back and watch 2 weeks ago our live stream.
So we have to watch the live stream. Really?
You're gonna get more views for blind.
Hammer, just pick another one. Just pick something you like.
We don't have to worry about it till next week anyway. So Scorpion, Juggernaut, and one more,
and something else.
I'll come up with the third one. I'll go back and I'll watch the live stream.
Sounds good.
Whatever it was, it's going to be a good one.
All right, my friends, you have whiled away another nearly hour with us. I'm still kind of keeping my throat to bare minimum.
You sound better.
I do. I'm feeling better.
Yeah,
you look good too.
Keep improving. Keep taking it easy on yourself. That's helping.
I will continue to take it easy. Remember to watch Irate Prostate tomorrow. Who do you have tomorrow, sir?
The one and only Stone Mexican guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
And of course, Blind and Special tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern. And the coffee stream on Monday, of course. So, anyone else have anything to shill?
Not really.
Oh,
just,
are you doing a walk on the geek side tomorrow, Skep?
Oh, yes. Walking the Geek Side is at 11 o'clock Central Time, noon Eastern Time, and we will be going through continuing on in our exploration of the Silmarillion and the shaping of Middle Earth.
And that is on the Maddie's House of Geek channel.
Yes, that is on Maddie's channel, the Madwoman Media's Maddie's House of Geeks. Yes.
Yeah, I'm spamming my channel just a wee bit in there, and I'm trying to get in the habit of doing that, so I apologize if it's annoying.
No worries at all.
Yeah, people are telling me you need to promote your shit, man. So I'm listening. Yeah, but that's my channel. If you're not subbed, give it a shot and see what you think.
Lots of fun happens over there.
We have a ball. We had a ball last night. That was fun, wasn't it?
It was lots of fun. It always is.
A little cuckoo.
Well, my friends, on that note, we are going to end, and hope you have a good rest of your Saturday night, and we will catch you next week for Hammer's favorite Voyager episodes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Peace, y'all.
Don't mess with Chaotica.